Lecture 2 gave you the exam. This lecture gives you the emergency, because when that neuro assessment changes suddenly, the question is no longer, what did I find? It's, how fast can I act? This is stroke, made simple. There are two kinds of stroke, and they are opposites. Ischemic stroke, about 80% of cases, is a blockage. A clot cuts off blood flow, and brain tissue downstream starts to die. Hemorrhagic stroke, about 20%, is a bleed. A vessel ruptures, and blood spills into brain tissue. Here is why that distinction is everything. The treatment for one can kill the other. Give a clot-dissolving drug to a patient who is bleeding into their brain, and you make the bleed catastrophic. They look identical at the bedside. Identical. Which is why nobody gets treated until a head CT rules out blood. Recognition first. The acronym is B FAST. B, balance, sudden loss of coordination. E, eyes, sudden vision loss or double vision. F, face, one side droops. A, arms, one drifts down. S, speech, slurred or the wrong words come out. T, time, note it and call it. Time is brain. That phrase isn't a slogan, it's arithmetic. During a large vessel stroke, the brain loses millions of neurons every minute that blood flow stays blocked. Every minute you save is function the patient keeps. Speech, a hand, independence. Which brings us to the single most important question you will ask. Not when did symptoms start. Ask, when was this patient last known well? Last known well is the last moment anyone saw them at their normal baseline. If a patient wakes up with symptoms, their last known well is bedtime, not the alarm clock. That one answer decides what treatment they're eligible for. Treatment 1. Intravenous thrombolysis. A clot-dissolving drug, alteplase, or increasingly tenecteplase. The classic window is 3 hours from last known well, and the American Heart Association endorses up to 4.5 hours in eligible patients. Alteplase dosing is 0.9 milligram per kilogram, maximum 90 milligrams, 10% as a bolus, the rest infused over 1 hour. Treatment 2. Mechanical thrombectomy. A catheter goes in and physically pulls the clot out. This is for large vessel occlusions, and here is the part that surprises people. Selected patients can be treated up to 24 hours from last known well when advanced imaging shows brain tissue still worth saving. So never assume a late patient is out of options. Escalate anyway. Now, the numbers you will be tested on, and more importantly, held to. Before thrombolysis, blood pressure must be below 185/110. If it's higher, the drug cannot be given until it comes down. After thrombolysis starts, blood pressure must stay below 180/105 for a full 24 hours. But here's what trips people up. If the patient is not receiving any reperfusion therapy, we permit high blood pressure. Guidelines allow up to 220/120. Why? Because that pressure is the body pushing blood past the clot. Drop it too fast, and you starve the tissue you're trying to save. High pressure isn't always the enemy. Context decides. Nursing priorities. Before that patient eats, drinks, or takes a single oral pill, they get a swallow screen. Stroke steals the swallow, and aspiration pneumonia is one of the most common complications we cause. Keep them nothing by mouth until they pass. That includes the morning medications, especially the morning medications. The rest of your priorities. Monitor glucose. Both low and high sugars worsen stroke outcomes, and hypoglycemia mimics stroke perfectly. Treat fever. Heat increases the brain's demand for oxygen it isn't getting. Do frequent neuro checks and compare to the patient's own baseline. And protect the weak side. Support that arm. Watch for neglect. Guard against falls. You'll hear a number attached to every stroke patient. Their NIH the National Institutes of Health Stroke Scale. 15 items, 0 to 42. And it drives treatment decisions and transfer decisions. It deserves more than a footnote. So the entire next lecture is the NIH explained step by step, item by item. Now flip everything. Hemorrhagic stroke. No clot busters. Ever. The priorities invert. Reverse any anticoagulation. Control blood pressure much more aggressively. And manage intracranial pressure. Watch for the pattern Lecture 2 taught you. Rising pressure. Widening pulse pressure. Bradycardia. Irregular respirations. That's Cushing's triad. And in a bleeding patient, it means the brain is being pushed where it cannot go. Let's put it together. Your patient is 72, admitted for something else entirely. At 0600, the aide reports she's not eating her breakfast, and her coffee cup keeps tipping. You walk in. Her right hand drifts. Her smile is uneven. Her words are there, but they come out scrambled. Here's what you do. Call the stroke alert. Now, not after you chart. Establish last known well. The night nurse saw her normal at 0400, so that's your clock, not 0600. Check a glucose immediately to rule out the mimic. Keep her nothing by mouth. And do not treat her blood pressure on your own. Until the CT tells us which stroke this is, we don't know whether that pressure is the enemy or the lifeline. The 5 mistakes that cost brain tissue. 1. Documenting when symptoms were discovered instead of last known well. 2. Giving oral medications before a swallow screen. 3. Lowering blood pressure without knowing the stroke type. 4. Assuming a patient outside the 4.5-hour window has no options. Thrombectomy reaches 24 hours. 5. Waiting to see if it improves. Stroke does not reward waiting. 5 pearls to carry onto the floor. Last known well beats symptom discovery every time. Check a glucose before you believe any stroke. No CT, no clot buster, no exceptions. The blood pressure target depends entirely on what treatment they're getting. And sudden is the word that matters. Stroke arrives in an instant, not over a week. Question 1. A patient wakes at 6 a.m. with left-sided weakness. She was last seen normal at 10 p.m. What is her last known well? 10 p.m. Waking with symptoms means the clock starts at the last normal observation, not at waking. Question 2. Blood pressure is 200/115, and the team is preparing thrombolysis. What must happen first? The pressure must be lowered below 185/110 before the drug can be given. Question 3. A new stroke patient asks for water and her morning pills. What is your action? Hold everything by mouth until she passes a swallow screen. Nothing, including pills, until that swallow is cleared. Question 4. A patient presents 8 hours after last known well with a large vessel occlusion. Are they out of options? No. Mechanical thrombectomy can be offered up to 24 hours in selected patients. Escalate. Do not assume. Question 5. A patient with sudden hemiplegia has a glucose of 38. What do you suspect? Hypoglycemia, the great stroke mimic. Treat the sugar first, then reassess. This is why glucose comes before conclusions. Anatomy told you what should be happening. The exam told you what actually is. Stroke is where those two collide, and where the nurse at the bedside, noticing a tipped coffee cup, starts the clock that saves a brain. Next lecture, the NIHSS, item by item. I'll see you there.